Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Our first stream, so we're gonna find out if we have fantastic chemistry or we end up just hating each other. So we're gonna find out. Let us know. No, that's not gonna happen, man. Hey, that was my favorite episode of Shawl Goodman I have seen in a while. See what I'm saying there? Better call Shawl, okay? Yeah. There's a lot to get to. Yeah. Point per game. Yeah, game where he scored a point in. There. We're still muted. Oh, we're muted. We can hear Fouad. They can't hear you. Oh, they can hear me. Uh-oh.
Oh,
I sabotaged him. I sabotaged him on
All right,
purpose.
I'm back.
See that?
Should we do it again?
I was getting really tired of him, and I pulled the plug. Sabotaged him on purpose.
Listen,
Now
all right. Well, you missed my whole scream for the Leafs.
You had a whole preview.
Oh, should I give them the scream again?
For the show.
All right.
Yes.
Blank face. Welcome everyone to a Leafs win, 4-1 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Fouad, we're here. I mean, this is gonna be a fun episode. There's so much to talk about for this game, man. There's so much.
I am so confused by this team. I
love this team.
If you ask me what could you explain more? The origin of life itself or the Leafs? And I'd be like, I think we could tackle this whole origin of life itself thing because this team is so confusing. It's like I don't understand it.
It's
I don't
wild.
understand.
It's wild. I mean, and what a game to I feel like this was the best game that the Leafs have played this entire season, and just filled with so many achievements. I mean, Willie passing Borje, you mentioned that. Second highest Swede goal scorer for the Leafs, 16 getting 16 game point streak. You talked about him being on a point per game pace now. Pontus Holmberg getting his second goal of the season.
Where the homies at? Where the homies at?
Oh, dude. And add on the cherry on top. Chef's kiss. Matthews getting a goal. He's back, baby. He's back.
Finally.
Finally. Yeah. But listen. Before we get into it, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sports Interaction. Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's World Cup, hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports a betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 and older, please play responsibly. All right, Fouad, let me just give a quick storyline of like what this game was, and then I think we really have to talk about Marner first. The Leafs are playing against the Pens. This is their third game playing against each other in like the month, and this is they were 1-1 right going into this.
Yeah,
it's crazy that this is the last game that they're going to face against each other in the regular season. Is that not wild? And
yeah,
it's funny that all three games have been like just demolition derbies. The first game, the Penguins won 4-2. The Leafs won the next game 5-2. You guys got to cover the win. We covered the trash loss as well. And finally, another 4-1 win, which looked like it was the best Leafs game of the season, right? I mean,
I think so.
And coming off of a back-to-back, we had Shalgren in that, right? We didn't have Murray, who was looking like a fantastic.
I forgot they played yesterday because they played in the afternoon. It threw off my whole circadian rhythm of this team. Right?
Oh, dude, yesterday was weird. I was not ready for a 2 p.m. game.
I mean, I watched it at work. Hopefully nobody's watching, but I was just watching. I was at work and I was just on my phone. So yeah, I mean that was I didn't expect it. I was kind of thinking. For kind of forgetting, but still thinking, oh, there's a back-to-back, so there might be a little bit of let-up in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
Zero.
Somewhere in a log cabin in Saskatchewan, Mike Babcock said,
Oh,
"We
jeez.
finally started on time," and they did. Mitch Marner.
40 seconds into the game. 40 seconds. My God.
It was.
Is he not
crazy.
the best like Leaf right now? I mean, there's an argument for Tavares, but really, Marner is playing fantastic. No?
Yeah, I've noticed him more this season like than ever. I think his game has kind of reached his final form. Like he's doing everything. Like so, the first goal was just like wheels and dangles and all the things that you can say. But the second goal where he might have tripped Letang. Okay, people were saying that, but the way he went in aggressively and just yoinked it, like give me that, and he just threw it across to Pontus Holmberg.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was
Beauty.
unbelievable. Like that was
Beauty.
You can see the evolution of his game. Like I've said this in the streams with Lauren, because the other games where he was firing from the point, and I'm like, who's this guy? Is this Darcy Tucker or is this Mitch Marner? Like, which 16 is this? This guy's firing the pucks, right?
Yeah.
And I said it opens up the game, so they're not as predictable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matthews right now, he has more assists than goals, which is wild, right?
Surprising. So, really surprising.
I think what it says is that the team is kind of evolving and not being typecast into their roles.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's also it's also based around the fact that the Leafs are getting some scoring opportunities from the rest of our top four, right? Our top four being like Marner, Tavares, and Nylander, right?
They've been awesome.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. There was a stat that I brought up where I think that we have 20 more points in comparative to where we were last year in the season. Our top four is 20 more points than they had last year, even with the drought that Matthews is on, right? That's fantastic to see. The fact that even if you're not getting that elite goal scoring from Matthews, the rest of the team is able to pick up the pace, right? And seeing that the bottom line's getting going. I mean, Malgin was playing really well. He had a really good chance as well.
It was Malgin versus Malkin. Which one can have the name? That was the big main storyline of this game. But yeah, no. Yeah, and with the bottom two lines obviously have been kind of devoid of offense, depending on what you consider the bottom two lines, because they change every game.
Yeah.
But they've been kind of devoid of offense. So this Pontus Holmberg, full disclosure, I did not know much about this guy until when he was called up. Like I vaguely had heard his name as a prospect somewhere, but I didn't know what his game was about. And his last couple, he's had 2 goals in like a couple
8 games only. 8 games.
And that was a snipe. Like that was a snipe right there.
You want to know something funny?
He's a skilled player.
He has more goals in a third of the games than Kerfoot. Isn't that wild?
Oh my God.
He has 2, Kerfoot has 1, and he's played a third of the games. Right? Talk about competition, right?
Oh my
Kerf
God.
needs to step it up if he wants to stay in the lineup. But anyway,
and you're saying that we're gonna get a little all over the place here, but you're saying people are saying that Kerfoot deserves his spot more than Nick Robertson. Like you couldn't get more out of Nick Robertson than Kerfoot.
Listen,
you couldn't produce more. You don't think so?
Robertson definitely deserves to be in the lineup. I don't know where you put him. I was thinking about other than. If we weren't, if that last goal with Bunton to Matthews didn't happen, I was really starting to get to the point where I was thinking maybe shake things up and put Robertson out to the left with Matthews and Nylander, right? Just try to shake things up because Bunton also hasn't been playing very, very well throughout the regular season thus far. So
he's
why
turning it on.
not?
He's been turning it on, Bunting.
He has. I mean, this game particularly, right? He played really well, but I mean, why not try something new, right? But after this game and that last goal, I keep it how it is. I mean, they're playing well. Just leave it alone. It's going good.
You know what? That's the thing. At some point they have to build continuity.
Yeah.
You can't just be shuffling, and because I feel like Sheldon Keefe, he's like white knuckling. He's like, I have to shuffle it. I have to shuffle the lines. Like he has like a randomizer on his computer, and he's just, I got to do it. So just sometimes just leave it. There's like Gordon Ramsay. There's a Gordon Ramsay video like where he's like the pan is on fire and the lady's touching it. He's just like, leave it. That's how I feel about the lineup sometimes. Just leave it.
Yeah, definitely. But man, okay, let's talk a little bit about Matthews, right? Because he was on a very tough streak, right? He wasn't scoring much. He seemed to have. He had a lot of opportunities. He had a lot of expected goals. He looks like he's playing well. He's getting some passes, and he's playing fantastic defensively.
Yes.
But he finally broke through today. Do you think this is a step in the right direction, or should we be cautiously optimistic right now? Right? Because he still is playing very well. I'm looking at the stats right now, and he has, what is this? His 9th goal.
It's kind of wild
goal?
that he does have more assists than he has goals this season, which is
that's surprising.
It does speak to an evolution in his game. Like, he's not a one-dimensional player. Like, he is what baseball fans call a 5-tool player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's good at everything as of now, right? So he's to see that he has that little goals, like he's like 46 in points in the NHL, which is like, I know it's early, but I looked at the list and I'm like scrolling, I'm like, where's Matthews? And I'm like 46 or in the 40s somewhere. And I'm like, wow. So, but you know, I think I'm optimistic. I was saying in my notes that Matthews this season, I find that I have, maybe it's just me noticing things, but he hasn't been getting to those spots and finding enough space to like really throw those snipes on net, except for today where Bunting, you know, sauced him a perfect in the slot, like falling down pass in the
classic
slot.
Yeah, that's exactly where he wants it.
If he didn't score that goal, we'd be having a very different conversation. We'd be like, what's wrong with him? The number one thread on Reddit, it's like, should we trade Austin Matthews? That would be
come on.
One.
I think people are forgetting that even with him only scoring like 9-10 goals in the season thus far, I think it's 10 after his goal for today, he's still on pace for like 40 in the season. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That's still a fantastic pace, right?
To me, like seeing these accolades, it's great. You know, we never, coming from the era that I watched when I was in high school and coming up, like seeing a guy get the heart and score the most goals, get the rocket. Like, I wouldn't have dreamed of that when I was in high school watching like Matt Stajan and Joffrey Lupul. You know, I'm just trying to pick random. So, but I think as fans, we're kind of over that now. Like, now we know who these guys are. We know they're superstars. If he can sacrifice, if he scores 40 goals and a team wins more, I don't care. I don't care about 60. It's just a number, right? You know, if he can, you know, tamper back the goals and have the rest of his game be on point and the Leafs winning, then I that's fine with me.
Yeah, definitely.
Worth every penny at that point.
And as well as the fact that he is contributing to these other areas of the game, right? That's the biggest thing in my opinion, right? Because you see him getting these nice passes out. You see him playing a well-rounded game. And if he continues that, then that's great. But the problem is, like, for the Leafs to do really well, especially in the postseason, because right now, I mean, we're fourth in the league. I think we should still be fourth in the whole league right now, right? That? Yeah, we're looking at we're as Leafs fans, we're trying to look into the postseason, right? And for the Leafs to go far in the postseason, we have to see Matthews getting up to that elite goal scoring pace that he was on.
He hasn't been it. Like,
that's the biggest issue.
Somebody I worked with, like, we were talking about the Leafs, and he was a Leafs fan too. And he last season before the Tampa series, he's like, "Oh no, to me, Austin Matthews is Austin Harden until he shows up in the first round." And I'm like, first of all, very harsh, but secondly, it's kind of true. I mean, you know, he played better in that first round series against Tampa, but when the game's on the line, I know Game 7, the 2 goals were from Nick Paul. It was 2 goals from Tampa were from Nick Paul, right? So it wasn't like their superstars stepped up, but you know, in that game when they're down, I want to see Austin Matthews like with just hellfire shooting out of his ears.
Definitely, yeah.
In a situation like that, right? So, but yeah, it's kind of funny that we keep saying that this is a fourth in the league team, despite a calamitous start. Like I remember listening to you guys the Anaheim stream, and then the
do you remember the banana costume for that?
Sad banana, and I said you have to wear it every time they blow a lead. It's got
a stinker.
But think about the difference, and then you had LFR and Steve was saying it's over. Like like to think that we had that a month ago is absolutely mind-blowing at how weird and strange this team and this league is, right?
And think about this as well. The strong suit of the Leafs have been our defense, right? Think about how many injuries we've had so far. I mean, Riley's out, Brody's out, Ben's out, Muzzin's injured. And surprisingly,
Yeah.
our strong suit is our defense. If I told you
Listen.
that last year, like, forget about last year, actually, if I told you that at the beginning of the season, what would you say, right?
I'd be like,
That's wild.
okay, I don't know what happened. Like a trade happened. Yeah. So the official numbers probably, I was looking at these in the middle of the game, so they probably changed now. But right now, we're 6th in goals against and 10 in shots and 15th in goals. So that sounds like we're the New York Islanders or something like that, right? Like that. You wouldn't think that's the Leafs. So when I talk to like my cousins who are like casual fans, but like, they only understand the narrative of the team was like, oh, the Leafs are all about scoring and are horrible on defense. Like that's imprinted in their brain. But yeah, you talk to anybody who's has not like really watched the team closely, they'll be like, oh, they never have any defense. Empirically, they do, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been fantastic, but there
You
are
think it's gonna hold? I mean, do you think it's
listen.
What's the difference? Like because the defense, it's not like we don't have Victor Hedman and Rasmus Dahlin in the back end.
Even Muzzin, right? I mean, Muzzin was integral for our defense, right? And seeing him out long term, where he likely probably won't play another game, right? We'll see. But yeah, I don't know, man, because I feel like this defensive core. I mean, the way that Sheldon Keefe is utilizing his players or utilizing the lines, it looks like he has nailed home the point of like playing defense first and playing good defensive hockey, right?
It has to be that was my point. It's like it has to be a team thing. Like there has to be a system thing that, the fact even the shot suppression is kind of crazy because I remember watching like closely back in like 2019 and those teams where the team was all go and like nothing on the back end, that they would get like, I remember I'd be out not watching the game and I would just go check the app and I'd see like it'd be like 36 to 10 shots. I'm like, God, what the hell? Like it was like comedic numbers. And now it's completely different. And well, what do you think? So like this is an interesting thing I was thinking of, and that people have posed is that, so going into the deadline, you have a Jake Muzzin sized hole in your salary cap. Okay, you have $5 million, 5 something, right? What would you prioritize in a trade? What would you want to prioritize? Like, would you want a defenseman or would you want a winger, like a goals to get more goal scoring? And I'm like, it's a tough one to think about because this can't keep up, right? If the defense is this decimated, right?
No, you have a great point, and I think that is a huge thing to think about. Like, yeah, we're gonna get Riley back, we're gonna get Brody back, we're gonna get Ben back, right? But Muzzin is such a big body that just throws his body around. He's such a grinder, and we kind of are missing that, right? And especially when you're looking to the playoffs, right? I think you need to shore up that, right? You need another guy that's able to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I still think that we need to look for another defenseman. That is our first area of concern. In terms of our forwards, right? We're looking and we're seeing a lot of our guys showing up. Like if we look, our second line is fantastic. Don't touch it. Keep Callie Yarncroc there. I'm totally fine with that. In our third and fourth line, they've been hit or miss. Like Mulligan and Holmberg, they showed up today. They've been looking really good thus far. Engvall, Camp, we've seen that inherent chemistry in last season as well, right? I think you can kind of keep that. And then Robertson, obviously, I want to see Robertson playing more. The problem is I don't know how Keefe is going to employ Robertson because he's kind of wanted Robertson to be in that top 6 lineup. He doesn't want to put him in the bottom 6. So unless someone underperforms, you're not going to see Robertson being slotted into that top 6. It's kind of a shame because I want to see Robertson playing games. Obviously, you want to see that development happening.
I think he can fit. I think he fits really well there. I think he fits in that top 6. Like
Bunting,
I kind of agree.
Who do you think he comes out for though? Because Yarncroc, I think, has earned his.
I liked him with Tavares and Marner.
But Yarncroc has been playing so well though, right? It's tough.
That's for sure.
It's tough to take out someone when especially when they're brought in a tough position and they excel, right? I mean, he just fits in seamlessly with those two, right? Yeah. So it's kind of weird, like trying to take him out and then breaking up some chemistry and then seeing what works, what doesn't.
What do you think about this? So Daniel Bastarash in the chat is saying Buffalo is missing the playoffs again. So Labushkin round 2.
What? Listen, Labushkin. Oh, jeez. I mean, Bush. If we have a player like Bush, Bush works. But I think we need. I think we need someone better.
You need someone with
Bush,
hands, like
yeah,
who doesn't have like stone hands. But
exactly. And Bush is also really slow, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know who's the problem is defenseman is just a hard position to fill. They're just so expensive, and they
Well, yeah, the
teams
right
just don't
type,
want to
like,
give them out, right?
the only ones that seem to be available are the Morgan Riley, Jay Gardner types, like those puck moving defensemen. Like those are the guys that the really
Yeah.
offensive guys that like having the word defense in their name is like not like it's kind of generous to put it in there. But
Uh-huh.
you know, you have those guys available, but like, you know, John Klingberg from Anaheim. I mean, Eric
Yeah.
Carlson would be awesome.
Carlson. Oh, jeez.
But
Talk about a bounce back, by the way. From a player.
yeah, but try making that work in the cap friendly, and your computer will overheat.
Listen, that's why we're not the GMs. Like, Dubas, you're paid to do this job.
I would be better
Make
than
it
any
work.
GM. Okay,
Oh,
I'm a
jeez.
fan. On the internet.
Oh, is your experience playing on NHL? Like
that and
making some
going on the
sweet trades?
going on HF Board's trade rumors page too.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, there you go.
I know the value. I can see the markets.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, listen, but I still think like the defenseman is the area that you kind of have to focus in on. Our forwards, especially when Matthews starts getting going. I think their forwards look all right. I think defense is the biggest, not concern, but the biggest area because they've been really hot thus far. But I don't think it's sustainable long term. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it is defense though?
Yeah. I think you can't go wrong with it because like it's hard to look sometimes at like if you're going into a playoff series and then you look at what you got in the back end.
Yeah.
You know, healthy. Again, we can't borrow trouble and plan about future injuries, but as of now, it's Morgan Riley, Brody, Giordano, Sandin, Liljegren, and Hall. That's kind of what you got, right? So can you look at that and say, okay, we're going to play Tampa Bay again, whatever. Let's just say that's probably going to happen. But, you know, are you super duper confident in that? Like, do you look at that and say,
no? And
I'm like, I'm not. Like Justin Hall, no, I'd like to see that upgraded a little bit.
And I also think like a big factor of that is that our defensemen are small players, right? These guys aren't big, right? We saw that specifically, I mean, just yesterday, right? When we played up against the Wild, you saw them just towering over our defensemen and just throwing their bodies around, right? Yeah, our guys are gritty and they'll play.
And Conor Timmins, how could I forget?
Oh yeah, Conor Timmins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conor Timmins, we signed him, but again, he's another player that's had issues with staying healthy and staying in the lineup long term, or for a long duration of the season. I don't think he's a replacement for Muzzin. Let's be honest.
Yeah. When I saw his profile, so I had heard the name before. I knew he was a pretty high up prospect with Colorado.
But
I didn't know too much about his game. So then when I heard the profile on him, it's like, former second round pick, never could find his way in his team. 6'2". I thought Justin Hall. Is this the younger Justin Hall understudy take over Justin Hall and be the favorite player of the management?
No, okay. So the one good thing that of Conor Timmins, if you saw his games in the Sioux Greyhounds, yes, he was really good offensively. Like he was moving the puck around. He was getting a lot of points per game, right? I think he had like 60 or something, and then 40. I'll pull it up.
Is that in junior, right?
Oh yeah, in the juniors, right? This is before his concussion that took him out for an entire season and whatnot. So he was. He has really good upside. It's just a matter of being able to tap in, get his conditioning correct, and just develop or continue his development and bring him back to where he was before. Right, that's the biggest thing.
I always like the gamble on getting those guys who were pretty high picks, and that's a pretty high pick for. By that would be a first round pick today because it was the 32nd pick, I believe. No, the 31st pick.
32nd. He was 32nd.
Oh, so he'd be a first round pick. Yeah, that's what I meant. He'd be a first round pick at this point. But I like to bet on those guys. I think the Leafs do have a pretty decent development system.
Oh yeah,
you know, by their track record.
Yeah,
of guys that they have found, kind of like found money guys. So like I can see them if there is that first round potential in Conor Timmins. The Leafs will get it out of him. I'm pretty confident that they'll get it out of him if he does have that potential in him, right?
Yeah, especially with him being a Greyhound. I mean, Dubas has those Sioux locked up.
Listen, if Kyle Dubas leaves the Leafs, he has to run for mayor of Sault Ste. Marie in about 4 years.
Oh,
And
jeez.
he would win. You don't think he'd win?
Hey, listen.
He's the
why not?
ambassador for sport and culture already.
He loves it.
Sioux Grey.
He
This
loves the
guy was a
Sioux.
Sioux Greyhound.
Yeah,
boy.
he loves it. He loves them. But yeah, okay. Kerfoot. I think that is another a position you need to move though. Like we talk about getting a defenseman and whatnot. Kerfoot has to be changed. I mean, Kerfoot is looking really bad out there right now.
I don't even say looking bad. I mean, he's just not looking because I don't look for him. I don't notice him. Right?
Oh,
He's not-
dude, the times where I do notice him though, he is just missing on a pass. He's flubbing. He's just not playing well. He's just not playing good hockey right now, and I think a big factor of that is like he's employed in a role where I don't think he's. Well, the problem is he was employed all over the place. I don't think we really know where he's going to be.
He wasn't a top
should be
six. They gave him some really good top six looks with
he
Matthews.
he played on all four lines. Like
but if you can't
threw him everywhere.
If you can't find use that space and that lack of attention paid to you and make something happen, then maybe that's probably not your role. Like you don't belong up there. But to have $3 million of your cap on there,
that's a big issue.
He'll be a trade chip, I think. He's an expiring contract, I think. So it's not like.
But who do you think takes him? Because everybody understands that he's not playing good hockey.
If you're gonna throw him into a trade, he might.
You're gonna have to give some
salary filler. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be like you'd have to attach a first. If it's hypothetical upgrade trade that it's probably gonna happen because they always make these. Like Kyle Dubas loves guys from the Sioux, doesn't care for draft picks. Just doesn't like them that much.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his tenure in the 4 years, I think that 2020 was the only year that they had a crap ton of picks. Other than that, it was just all thrown away.
Oh my god! It started before.
Get another Foligno.
With Lou Lamoriello. He just looks at the draft picks and he's like, "That's too many of them." Just
yeah.
He gets rid of them. That's it. It's like the old. If there's older fans, some old school fans in the chat. Not calling you old, just saying old school fans. If you remember, I remember reading about Cliff Fletcher, the GM back. He was two-time GM, so he was GM in the 90s, and he came back after John Ferguson. And at some point in the 90s, I think he literally said draft schmaft. So that was the whole motto for the next. And I'm glad it's continued. Like the Leafs don't not like the draft.
But okay, they have been doing a pretty good job of drafting later on. The latter picks in the draft, they've been doing pretty good.
Depth. Yeah.
Hey, if you do want to, we had a great conversation with Scott Wheeler about that. So check that out, by the way, regarding prospects and drafts. That was a previous episode where we did talk, but we actually talked about that point specifically, where I think the Leafs have been doing a pretty good job of finding these guys in the later rounds, right? So Dubas has been doing a good job on that aspect. I think our drafting has gotten better, but yeah, that's a whole topic for another day. I kind of want to talk about Källgren, because Källgren, we gotta remember, Källgren. This is his game back after that horrendous play against the Islanders. When was that? Like a week back or something? It's been a
Monday.
while.
It was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday.
Yeah. Okay. So basically a week.
The most 10 the goal of the 10 the goal
horrendous
you could make. Yeah, it was. Yes, but I mean to bounce back and not let that get down. Let that get you down.
That's the biggest thing.
That's a great quality. I mean, that's an underrated, unteachable quality. I don't think you can teach that quality to a player.
Exactly.
Like you saw kind of with Jack Campbell that, I mean, again, I don't know these guys personally. I'm not their psychologist, but you could see that there was a lack of confidence with him, right?
Yeah.
And not to say that Källgren is as good as Jack Campbell, but he's good in his role. Källgren, he's a break glass in a case of emergency goalie.
Yeah, I mean, he is a third stringer, right? He's not even supposed to be our backup.
But you know what?
But he's doing good in this.
Like that, to bounce back, and he looked good. I mean, he didn't get tested much. I mean, Pittsburgh couldn't put much together aside from getting that goal late. It was I didn't once feel like I didn't even do this in the defensive end. Like I just
even the
it was
goal,
a stress-free game.
Yeah, and even the goal that the Penguins got. I mean that. I can't blame Källgren on that at all. It took an unlucky bounce off Engvall.
No, it was bad,
yeah, I don't blame Shulgin. If anything, I feel
nobody
bad
can say
that he didn't get a clean sheet. But yeah, you can see even like Keith had some comments before the game regarding Shulgin. He said, "Don't overthink it. These games come fast and furious. Just focus on the game that's coming. I've already forgotten about the situation. That's the situation with the Islanders, right? So seeing that confidence in your coach for a player,
Yeah.
is obviously very good to see as well. And yeah, I mean, Shulgin showed up. He showed up and he did his job.
Now I will say we need our two guys healthy to go. If again, it's all about looking at your roster going to the playoffs. If he's your backup, or if he's playing significant minutes, something went horribly wrong. But sometimes you can't plan for something happening horribly wrong. Things horribly wrong happen all the time.
Exactly.
But what the point is, they got to keep Samsonov and Murray healthy, because this might be, and aside from injuries, might be the best the goaltending situation has been in this era, at least.
Yeah, specifically because both the tandem are working well together, right?
Yeah.
Both the tandem are people that you can rely on. Where in previous years, I mean, we had Campbell playing really well, where our backups weren't able to give us that same confidence, right? But here we have two guys that are showing up and really playing a lot better than we had ever expected, right? And Samsonov looks like he's going to be coming back soon too, so that's really promising.
Hope he keeps it. Yeah,
exactly.
If you got two really good goalies like Murray, like they should be, like I was thinking about this earlier when I saw he was sitting. They need to make like Murray walk down the hallway to the Raptors and ask them what they did with Kawhi Leonard. Okay, not to compare the two, because if Kawhi Leonard is like a Sidney Crosby level player, debatable. Again. Anyway, but you have to do what they did with Kawhi Leonard in preserving his body. So like the whole load management applies with Matt Murray. I mean, if this is how he's playing is going to be how he plays if he stays healthy, and like if this is him, then preserve this guy, keep him on ice. I don't like make the Kawhi plan for him. In my opinion, yeah, because if you have that type of goaltending, like I mean, the Leafs have never had that type of goaltending.
Yeah. I mean that's a
900 goaltending. I mean, the way he's played lately, again, I'm not saying he's going to continue it, but the way he's played lately, I mean, you can't argue. Like, I couldn't ask for any better from a Leafs goalie.
Yeah, they're both putting up like 0.92 or something like that right now. They're playing really, really well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, to your point, that's exactly the right mentality to have, right? You don't want to overwork these guys, especially when Matt Murray has injury troubles, right? So having two guys in there that are both very, very serviceable and doing really well, eases the load on both of them, right? And that's gonna keep them healthier long term, especially as they push out to the postseason, right? So yeah, I think you're on the money on that. Like, keep these guys healthy and like having Shulgin in there to back up or to have him there as well, I guess, to pick up the slack when these guys are injured is a good sign to see anyways, right? But yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot of things to say about this lineup right now, or specifically today. Now, if they go on and have another losing streak, who will go back to bashing them? But the last couple of games and for the last while, I mean, the Leafs have played really good hockey, and today they played really, really good hockey.
I don't know what it is about October. I don't know what it is about October. Like, they don't like pumpkin spice lattes. They don't like Halloween. They don't like the real Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. Like, like something about October. They don't like the World Series. They don't like baseball. Something about October, the Leafs just does not vibe with them. As soon as you hear Mariah Carey in the stores, that's when they turn it on.
Yeah, dude.
That's it.
I don't know what it is about them.
They hear that that first line, and
it's crazy.
I don't want a lot for, and then that's it. They start playing. That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I guess it's like the rope-a-dope type thing, and the boxing thing. Pretend that you're dead, and then you start. Oh, he ain't dead. Just he's playing possum. Maybe they're playing possum just to kind of like read the, like, I don't know. Read their opponent. I don't even know. I can't explain this team.
Who knows? But I mean, it's good to see. I'm okay with as long as they keep this consistency throughout the rest of the season. Or I guess not the consistency as of late, I should say. As long as this still rolls, keep it going.
This version of consistency.
Exactly. Just keep it going. And I mean, we're gonna have a chance to see it against the Red Wings. I mean, let's look at our next couple of games. We have the Red Wings on Monday. We got the
By the way, if all things go
Wednesday.
well, I'm hoping this is confirmed, but it should be. I'm gonna say it. We're gonna have a crossover episode, or we're planning to. We're hoping, most likely, gonna have a crossover episode with the Winged Wheel podcast.
Ooh, there you
Detroit.
go.
So we're trying something a little different. This is something I have a bit of a vision of, is that to get some opposing team reporters come on and we talk about our different teams. You get to hear both sides of the story, you know. It's like a CNN debate without all the yelling. Right?
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
A nicer CNN debate.
The banter after that game, regardless of which way it goes, that's gonna be really funny.
Because that team Detroit, I mean, like I don't know, they might start to be good now. They've been in the dark for so long, and it's so weird that like 20 years ago when I started caring about hockey, you know, Detroit was a staple. Like the drive for 25 years. They were in the playoffs.
That was a crazy streak.
Great. And all of a sudden, I guess it's just consistent. Like they ran out of the drafting magic to get guys in the 4th round, and they had all the contracts, and then the bubble bursts, right? Like everything just. But it's gonna be fun. You know, that's a team that I always like. It's that team that I don't hate, even though they're under division. I don't hate them. I'm just like, that's the Red Wings. You know, they're cool. They have a cool factor with them. But
they're also playing really good hockey right now. I mean, they're 9th in the league right now. They're on a 4-game winning streak, so it's gonna be fun regardless. It's gonna be really fun.
Bring on the tests. Yeah. Bring on the tests there. But
So
it's not much to say. I mean, like,
stay tuned for that.
Team.
That's gonna be a fun episode. That's gonna be on Monday.
It's funny that when the team does bad, and you probably found this in your streams because it's the first time we've done one together. When a team does bad, I feel like the time passes. Like you look up and it's like 11:30, and you're like, "Oh crap!" We've been talking about these team bad. But I said this with Lauren, like when the team just does what they're supposed to do and just takes care of it. Like we start to trail off into like some crazy stuff. Like soon we're just be talking about aliens the next time. Like if the team is actually good, like I feel like this, we gotta cut the streams in half.
We've just become so cynical like over the past years of getting blamed.
Goodness, it's like we've embraced being like the losing so much. Like it's soaked into our souls that it like feels good. You get a bit of dopamine from it.
We even like had that today too. Like we talked about the issues with their defense. We talked about injuries. We talked about Kerfoot, and we had the absolute probably the best game of the season thus far. And we still had all of that. It's a classic Leafs fan, right?
You can laugh at me if you want. You can laugh at me if you want. I did a journalism degree, okay, and this is my first ever job in it. 6 years later. So laugh at me all you want for getting a journalism degree. What we learned is true. If it bleeds, it leads. Okay.
Ooh, that's always a good quote.
Fun. It's always more fun. I mean, that's the news in general, but it's always more fun to talk about the negative or more. It ignites something in us to like talk about the negative of the team more. I find it's like I think it activates a certain part of your brain where you're like you have this sort of dark pleasure in it. It's like. These losers. And
I think it's like especially prevalent for the Leafs. I mean, us Leafs fans are just like it's ingrained into us after year after year of this. It's crazy.
That's why we're cynical. It's like they won 4-1, and you're like, God, Kerfoot sucks. It's like they won. It's like they won the game. Just be happy. But that's what podcasting is about. We have to. You know, we find things and make big deals of them. So
exactly.
That's the secret sauce.
Just throw a little spice, a little flavor into it.
You know, you got to do it. So let's see the chat here one more time before we leave here. Oh no, aliens, stay focused. Getting some.
Detroit's in third. Detroit in playoff spot. Yeah, I mean, okay. Shout out to that episode. I mean, that's gonna be fun. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys are tuned into that, right?
Again, I don't like to make promises of any kind, but that is what is on the docket. Things maybe it's on the docket.
Hey,
But
the only way for
Make
you
sure you tune
guys to the only way for you guys to know for sure is to subscribe, hit that notification icon, tune in, follow us on our socials, follow SDPN on the socials, and you'll find out, right? You'll know from there.
That's it.
There you
Tweet
go.
about us. Share the show with your friends. Okay. Listen, share it up. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody.
Yeah.
Shout it from the rooftops. Help us out, guys. Like the chat, I see you guys working down there. Like they are working overtime in the chat. You guys are great.
This has been a fun episode. I
You're
really
a part of the
enjoyed
show.
this.
You know, Warrior Womp. My eyes are really bad. Mikey's Lab, Daniel. You know, they all roll up. They're all never late. So
even Lauren's here.
Lauren's here. Listen, hi Lauren. Listen, let us guys share it. You're part of the show. Help us out. Let's make the community bigger. Let's make this chat bigger.
Yeah,
Let's
and
make it.
Enjoy these wins as well. I mean, like, share this episode because listen, this was a fantastic win. Let's hope to see that this continues going off in the future as well.
Enjoy the wins, okay, guys.
Enjoy
them. Like,
enjoy the
I don't
rest
want
of
to
the
hear.
day.
Don't let anybody. This is before we go. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, it doesn't mean anything until the playoffs, guys. Duh. Talk to me in the first round. Tell them, hey, enjoy every day. Enjoy every win because what are we watching it for? Otherwise, just don't watch until April. If you have that mentality, right?
Exactly. They're gonna be here anyways. They love it.
Enjoy the win. Say my team is 4th in the NHL, and yours probably isn't.
I mean, there's only one 4th place slot, so there you go.
Yes, by math.
Exactly. But yeah, that's gonna do it here from us. I mean, this has been great. Thank you, Fouad. This has been amazing.
Yeah,
this is really fun.
Good chemistry.
Yeah.
The chemistry.
Do we pass? Was that?
Vibes
are we gonna kill each other, or are we good? Huh?
Did we pass the vibe test?
Yeah. Well, tell us. Tweet us tweet
Warrior
at us about
Womp says you are fantastic hosts. You guys are gonna become legends.
Thank you.
SDPN baby.
Especially if we get a damn like. Just imagine if we get a cup this season. Chef's kiss, legend right there.
They need to make me drink out of the cup. I want to be there. So.
All right, this has gone on for too long. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys follow, subscribe, tweet, watch or listen to the podcast on all the different podcast platforms. Share out to everybody, and stay tuned in to a special episode on Monday. That's going to be a lot of fun against Detroit. We'll catch you guys then. Have a great night. Doot.
Yeah, no, I know. That's my idol. And I was like, that's one of the guys I like. I was gonna say, I forgot to say it, but so I saw Sitsixero tweeted the Leafs are a good hockey team, and I was gonna say, okay, the world's ended. So he's always negative.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
He's my favorite. Like he's my favorite broadcaster.